Hi, everybody. Do you know what? This is so weird. Talking to everybody.
It's really, you get used to it after the first couple of minutes, honestly. Yeah, you do.
Bonkers. So hi, everyone. Now, because it's International Women's Day it was International Women's Day on Monday this week, to speaking to women from all different places and in all different areas of life, try and gather us all together. And I want to create a platform for everybody to be able to express themselves. People who
share experiences, spiritual journeys, all that sort of stuff.
All that good
different
stuff.
Avenues. Yeah.
So this is my friend Kimmy, who I met in the park way back in like 2014, I think.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, and we never really kick it, but actually we are kind of on a vibe and we live in the same area.
Paths aligned.
Yeah.
And I seen you in Aldi the other day.
And you did. So what I wanted to do was ask you, because obviously with International Women's Day, it's a celebration of women's achievements, and I feel like you've had some really cool achievements just lately. So You've been on a spiritual journey, and you've come out the other side extremely empowered, and now you're using your platform to empower others.
Yeah, women and men. Like now it's getting into the and men part as well.
And men. Yeah. So how's that been for you, that process?
It's kind of been a step by step. Like, I don't have all the information. I don't have all the answers. If anything, I'm using my own experience and giving little tips and nuggets of advice on how to grow spiritually based on my own experience. Because ultimately, I always sit there and say, the only true knowledge that we have is knowledge of self. And experience is the greatest form of knowledge that you can have. Like, you don't need a degree for that. It's just how you live and you learn and you experience life and, you know, you're aware of yourself. So it's more of a process of, oh, I learned this. Now I'm sharing this knowledge with you. Or I read this book and it implemented this into my life. So now I'm sharing this knowledge with you. And it's kind of just gone on like a snowball effect, because my whole thing was, okay, if I'm going to do this, it needs to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent. Right. Consistency is the main thing. And ultimately, your own life is chock-a-block full of stuff that you can talk about. Just if you're trying to learn and you're trying to share, it's just one of them. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind, especially over the last few weeks. Last week. Yeah, it's been last week.
Yeah. So for me, I absolutely hear what you're saying about that. It is about sharing your experience. And I feel like the universe just brings things to you. You know, like you meet the universe at the top of the hill and you just push yourself up, and then you start gathering momentum and it gets behind you.
It's kind of like, because I actually spoke about this tonight in a video I've just posted, but your Dharma. If you protect your Dharma, Dharma will protect you. And your Dharma is your purpose, it's your path. And coming across that path, you become kind of like a conduit for the universe to help and make the world a better place. And for me, it's for the feminine. It's, you know, because for the feminine, some spiritual practices can be quite damaging to the feminine. And this is what I'm actually learning about, is like, you've got Shiva energy and then you've got Shakti energy. They're completely different energies. So for the women to follow a path that suits her, like, that's my Dharma. And it's kind of like, I've seen like windows of opportunities just unfold. The more I learn, the more I grow. So it's amazing, to be fair.
Right. And anybody can do this. It's like, if you've got any kind of life experience or anything that you've been through to share, you can help someone else. And for me, that's like the core principle of evolution. There are no new ideas, and there's always going to be someone who's done it as well, but nobody will do it. Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. You're unique.
Exactly. So when it's like we all are a part of the collective. And if you imagine, people could do research for 50 years and then they might put all their 50 years of research into one book. And you read that book, you know, it might take you a week to get through it. You read the book,
Yeah.
and now you've got 50 years of somebody's experience and whatnot in a book, just for you to be able to then process and share. And for me, that's why connection, writing, speaking is so important, because we all add. And then what happens is you take that information in, and then you add your little bit of sauce, a bit of seasoning, and then you share it out.
Because anything can be taken from your own kind of quote unquote hero's journey. Everyone has a hero's journey in life, and that's a path and purpose and a lesson that everyone has to learn. And everyone can resonate with the hero's journey. And do you know what I mean? There'll be certain parts of someone's, like my life, that someone will resonate with relationships. I've always had terrible relationships. So through my own journey of self-love and loving myself and loving the feminine and loving my emotion and how extra I can be and how emotional I can be, you know, getting people in tune with my journey helps them get in tune with themselves.
Absolutely. So with regards to like International Women's Day, it's raised conversations about gender roles in society. What's your opinion on that?
This is where I'm going to if I break it down, they did a study in 1950 of gender roles back then, and for the women, and how happy they were back then. Compared to now with the feminine movement and the feminist movement, they have found that women are a lot more unhappy now than they were in 1950. And I think this is what I've kind of learned is, as the world has become more masculine, feminine essence has been deemed as weak, bad, uncontrollable, and it's kind of been this slow movement into women becoming so disconnected from their emotions and their emotionalities that women are now beginning to feel numb.
Agreed.
Yeah. And this is part of, it's like, for my experience, if you take spirituality, you've got the left polarity and the right polarity. And where we needed to kind of go ahead back in 1950s and we needed to evolve, we've gone too far on the other side.
Right. And that's an opinion to share.
Yeah, we've gone too far on the other side, and women are so disconnected from their heart space, their emotions. And this is the thing about Shakti energy. It's about the embodiment of emotion. And emotion isn't welcome in the corporate world. No. Emotion isn't welcome in places of management. Emotion isn't even, look at what's happening with Meghan Markle.
Right.
She's being attacked for being emotional or saying that she's lying and this and that. And we are becoming such a vulnerable collective kind of world that we are so vulnerable because we are not able to step into our vulnerabilities and see them as strength, that the masculine essence has taken over in everything. And my whole thing...
Yeah, carry on.
Sorry. My whole thing is about taking it back a bit and seeing your femininity as a strength, seeing your emotion as a strength, seeing your nurturing nature as a strength, seeing the fact that you can, I can definitely be deemed as over the top and emotional. But now I see it so much of a strength because I live in my full feminine expression of my emotions. And ultimately, then I get connected to my higher self. I'm happy with just being. So when it comes to gender roles, I think the essence of, it's hard to say with genders because it's not a gender thing. It's a feminine, masculine essence thing.
Which I was just going to ask you about, actually. So for those people that don't know, could you sort of describe the masculine energy and the feminine energy and sort of how that pertains to?
Okay, so if the feminine is based in emotion, it's based in being rather than doing. So feminine is taking a step back. It's showing that self-care. It's basically sitting in that feminine space and being okay in the void of the emotion. Masculine, and this is where self-care has took on a very masculine role as well, because instead of sitting with our feminine emotions, we've took a masculine turn on it and gone, oh, I need to do something because I feel bad, and that's part of self-care. No, part of healing is actually feeling. Yeah, and that's the feminine. That is the feminine of sitting in your emotions, crying it out, letting that kind of expression of emotion so it's not trapped and traumatized. Masculine is about direction, safe containers. It's very logical. It's very thinking mind. It's very, you know, if you want to go and start a business, you need a lot of masculine energy to get the business up. Yeah, it's action. It's directive. Feminine cannot be tamed. It's overflowing. It's like water. But what we've done is gone, oh, my emotions are too much. Let me put a masculine steel container over it and never let it out. Because what I'm seeing as well is, especially with our generation, I'm not a doctor, bear in mind, disclaimer. Because people have become so disconnected from their emotions, what they do is numb them. And if you numb bad emotions, you also numb good emotions.
Yeah, you do. And you know, if I speak on, because I've had some bad relationships also. And I think for me, I had one of those relationships where you're in, you're out, you're on, you're off. And every time I was off again, I had to learn something more about myself and go a little deeper. And each time I tried to manage it in a different way, squash that emotion, get rid of that. Another thing, and, you know, I was advised by, you know, mums and nans and, you know, that you basically, dislike him. You've got to teach yourself how to dislike him, how to unlove him, how to be,
squash it down and move on.
Right? And it never worked. And I stayed in a cycle of this, it was a pattern for me. It just kept going on for years. Yeah. And then the one time when that was the finality of it was when I actually accepted those emotions. I was like, wow, these emotions are so powerful. And actually, instead of fighting them, pushing them away, let me actually sit in my feminine energy and allow, right? Yeah. And see what happens. And believe it or not, that was the magic.
You release it.
Gone.
And this is the thing, through numbing bad emotions, we numb good emotions, and then we have a society of people who depression exists, but people are going to the doctors and people are like, I'm not feeling anything, I feel down. And they've got anxiety and they've got all this pushed down emotion, tension. Their nervous system is gone insane. And then the doctors go, tell you what, let me stick you on some antidepressants. Let me take away the feelings altogether. And then you have masses of people refusing to feel and numb, they can't feel joy. Like, mental health is a real big crisis at the moment, but I think our approach to it on a medical standpoint, and I'm not a doctor, I've been diagnosed with depression myself, I've been on antidepressants myself. That approach didn't work for me. And I can wholeheartedly say, and I know other people who have said doesn't work.
I haven't taken antidepressants, but I went to the doctors with like severe anxiety to the point where my body it was affecting day-to-day life. It got ridiculous. And I thought, what is this? And I asked for some help and he gave me some antidepressants and I skipped away with them. And I thought, can I really take these? Is there anything I can do? And they were serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So that was like the beginning of my rabbit hole, I guess, into health and how to help oneself. So I Googled, what's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor and what does it do? And then I was like, okay, how can I produce more serotonin in my body without having to take these tablets? Because the doctor was telling me it's going to take some 6 weeks to work. And I was in a chronic state where actually I developed this disorder, which is really weird, where basically you keep yawning because your body's constantly hyperventilating and you're taking too much oxygen, but your body feels like it doesn't have enough. So it keeps yawning to get more oxygen, which is a bizarre side effect of anxiety.
Yeah.
So actually, I did some research, I did some meditation, and I found I was able to cure myself within like 3 to 4 days. And suddenly I was feeling on top of the world. And for me, that was the sign that was like, actually, you don't need help. Like, first, it's about what you put in your body, you know, what you're listening to, you know, get some you time, chill time, really find out who you are. Because I actually think that anxiety is a symptom. I know for myself that I feel it when I'm not sure how to word this, following what it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, like anxiety is actually, it's caused from the energetic centers in your body sending out too many hormones. The nervous system doesn't know how to cope with it. So your body is trying to notify you don't feel okay, stop ignoring me and deal with the issue. And because you're not addressing the emotion, the body has to respond. So the body sends out physical signals of energy where you hyperventilate because your body's trying to tell you something's not right with you. You can't ignore me anymore. You can't ignore the emotion anymore. And if you look into anxiety and depression and everything, emotion is what lays underneath, and the ignoring of those emotions, we either put them down or the body is reacting, going, you don't feel okay, please fix it, let's fix it. And you'll normally find where the anxiety is stemming from, whether it's the solar plexus or the sacral chakra. And this is why the feminine path is an embodied path, is because you settle into your body and you listen to it. You listen to what it needs, what attention does it need. If you're feeling unconfident and you're getting anxiety, you're going to feel it in the solar plexus. So you have to settle into that body. And this is where the masculine sense of meditation and coming out of the body doesn't work sometimes, because the body is trying to tell you something's wrong right now. Let's deal with it. And once I understood that, and then that's where breathing practices, letting the body know nothing's happening right now, you are safe. Breathing practices calm the body down, and that's when you start to re-regulate yourself and re-regulate your hormones. And when I discovered that, changed my life.
Mine too.
Because I even walk around work and I'm always aware of my body now. Even if I walk around work and I sometimes get like a feeling in my like womb space or something, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling not very good right now. Let me just take a minute, whether I go and sit in the corner, go and sit on the toilet, and I just do 4-4-4 counts of breath work. And within minutes, I'm fine, it's calm, and you just keep that conscious breath throughout the day.
I think being aware of body chemistry and how it works is a life changer.
It really is.
Because you could be taking a minute to breathe, or, you know, to purposely, let's say even smiling, even when you don't feel like smiling, actually, you know, creates those feelings and releases those chemicals into the body. So if you're not feeling happy, smile anyway. And then eventually you will actually laugh. Yeah. Even if it's just at the silliness of the whole experience.
With, like, obviously my path, it's realising that the feminine essence is about love at its core, at its absolute core. It is love. It wants to feel love. It wants to give love. When we are refusing to allow ourselves to love in whatever scenario it is, we then choose other modes to feel these positive emotions of love, which what I learned is women, when they're heartbroken, they eat chocolate, they eat ice creams, because the sweet stuff that you eat releases the same hormones that is the same as the love hormone.
Wow.
And that's why women always turn to these things, because we're always forever trying to fill some sort of void that we feel.
Absolutely makes sense. I mean, I didn't know why we did it, but I knew that I did it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's when I always notice now, especially now, if I'm not feeling like, let's say I'm talking to a guy and he's not texting me, yeah, I'll always go get an urge to get a chocolate bar. And now I pay attention to it, how it aligns with it. It's insane. It's genuinely insane. And this is when a guy is normally like, he's being really beautiful to you and it's really great. Your appetite doesn't seem to be as unhealthy and as so volatile.
No, this is very true.
And that's because the feminine is the void. If the masculine is the divine spark, the feminine is the void of space and the space that we need to fill. And women need to understand that. So powerful to understand ourselves and why we react the way we do in life. But going into that masculine essence, we are kind of refusing the power of our feminine.
We're into the age of Aquarius, or so they say. What's the name of this?
It doesn't happen till 2150.
So it's not happening yet?
Not happening yet. The major conjunction, when you actually look at it in the sky, it happened in Capricorn, but that's because it's a difference in degrees and stuff, but it officially starts 2150. You're starting to see like the themes come in of technology, and the themes are starting to slowly change. Okay. But first, the age of Aquarius needs to happen. We need to get, the elites, that needs to be dealt with.
What is our role, like as the people for now, like with regards to that?
For now, it's just kind of following the divine process, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen regardless. Like at the moment, Capricorn's having this massive like Pluto transit at the moment. So it's massive transformation of governments and people in power. This has started since January 2020, but it's a 20-year process. So it's a really, really slow process. But in terms of the age of Aquarius, if you look at Aquarius, it's about manifestation, it's about dreams, it's about science, it's about the collective, but it's the collective of a free people collective. And at the moment, we're not in that place just yet. And if we was an Aquarius, we'd all be free. Because right now it's kind of like we're in that Capricorn stage at the moment. But once that hits 2150, because it's about the precession of the equinoxes. So when the precession of the equinox finally hits Aquarius, it will be that year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're still dealing with Capricorn, does that mean this is the hard work on the way to Aquarius?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And with regards to gender equality, I actually feel like myself, a bit of like what we said about, with gender roles and stuff, and then having gone the other way, I actually feel that more integrated. Like, so as I've kind of sat back and allowed my feminine energy, I've also been able to balance the masculine. Yeah,
you feel rebalanced, yeah.
And so then actually I'm more productive and I take more action also. Because
when you rely too much on your masculine energy, you do have burnout a lot. You're burnt out 24/7, tired, exhausted, have no, because we take the approach, and especially being like, I'm a single mom who's trying to start her own business. I have a job. I'm raising a child by myself. All that requires masculine doing energy. Sometimes you need a break to sit there and go, right now, I'm going to take this hour and fully just relax. Or if I'm cooking the dinner, take a feminine approach to it. Instead of writing lists in my head, going with the flow, with the day, with how I feel. Like, do I feel like ordering in today? Or do I feel like cooking this meal? Whereas normally I'd have regimented meals for every day and had to clean the house on this day, make sure the washing's done on that day. And I've pre-planned my entire week. And before the week started, I'm burnt out. Absolutely. And when you actually go with the flow of the stream, so to speak, you reserve energy.
And you get more done. This is the crazy thing. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I get so excited. But the masculine energy just takes over and it burns out, as you've said.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm overwhelmed by all the humongous tasks I've set for myself. And actually, sometimes I'm like, oh, should I go for a walk right now? Because I'm really feeling, I need to connect
being
with
relaxed. Being connected.
And for me, walking's like a meditation. So I'm like, it must be that time. And when you actually saw me at Aldi, I'd actually just walked up from my house. So I'd been on some next long walk.
Yeah.
That was my little space. So I just go on these random detours. I might have 10,000 plans, but if I don't respond to my energy, when my energy doesn't feel to do stuff, when it feels to go out and it feels to connect with nature or another person could be or anything, you got to go. If that's
you follow it. Yeah, you follow it. And that's the thing, it cannot be controlled and it can't be regimented. And like, don't get me wrong, you need masculine energy to get things done. Like if I go to work, I'm in my masculine energy. But it's about having a healthy balance. That's what it's about. And where we've been too masculine and applied too much pressure on our lives, and everyone's trying to be someone. To be someone, you need a lot of masculine energy. And what you'll find is once you relax, you become more creative. Then you get a lot of creative juices flowing once you're in a really relaxed state.
Yeah.
So there's so much power in the feminine. It just needs to be understood more. But I think this is like, I do genuinely feel like it's been like a trickle down of like information to kind of just sway us away from the full power of ourselves. Because this is ultimately, the path of the feminine would ultimately help men connect to themselves as well, because there's a major epidemic of men committing suicide. And if they actually learn how to feel with their own feminine essence, they would ultimately heal themselves as well. So the feminine isn't just for women. And this is why I say it's so importantly to everyone I know. The feminine helps you to feel, and through feeling you can heal. And we're all on this journey now. And this is where I see the pre-Aquarius theme coming up, is we're all out here trying to heal, but we can't heal if we don't feel.
No, we can't. And that's why really I wanted to start, I wanted to join you out here and, start my own contribution, because it's like there's work to be done. There's work to share and there's healing participating. And as I go through my own healing, if I express that, hopefully that can help somebody else. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's all for now.
Leave it there.
I was only meant to keep you for 20 minutes, and I feel like I've kept you for, it doesn't even tell me how long.
Don't worry.
But yeah, slightly longer than that. But absolutely appreciated, and I hope that we get a chance to talk again.
Yes, we'll do a little thing in the summer. We'll meet in nature and connect and do all that, because I'm always out in the summer. Once it gets hot, I'm like by my favourite tree near enough every day. So yeah, it'd be good to like catch up and get connected to other women as well, because what I'm trying to do, I am eventually trying to do a funded charity walk called the Goddess Walk, where it would be like a 10k walk. We're all dressed up as different goddesses, and it's just.
And it's
say it again.
Bizarre. That is incredible, and it's so bizarre because I actually was speaking to one of my friends yesterday, and we literally spoke about. She was wondering what to do with her time, and I said, "What do you enjoy doing?" She said, "Walking." I said, "Why don't you organise a walk?" And she was just a bit and ahhing about it. I feel like that was just you popping up in my yesterday and that idea, because that's incredible. I would so definitely come.
Yeah, a 10k, like where it's kind of a lot of women coming together for a certain charity for women, or for women who have been through abuse, or things like that, and we all get just a chance to just walk through the countryside, do a 10k walk in fancy dress, You can dress up as a feminine, like a woman character, or, you know, a feminine Marvel character, or, do you know, anything. And it's just a bunch of people just getting together and doing a walk, and people giving for a good cause. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. That sounds incredible. And you know what's cool as well? You know, where we are in the world, we could have been anywhere, but it's cool that even in this small place, we're able to make moves, make big moves.
Yeah.
Because it's like in every community, we need things happening. We need people connecting, because we're all very disconnected, and, you know, it's time. Like, and I really feel that pull. And every time I ignored it, it was making me anxious. I was actually getting more anxiety from ignoring the pull of my, like, whatever it is I'm being drawn towards.
Dharma, your purpose,
Yeah, and I always have known it's something to do with my throat chakra, because
you didn't speak up enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I was shy, but I could sing. So it was like, but I was too shy to ever sing in public or to ever do anything. It's, you know, it's been like, that's been my whole focus of like trying to overcome that fear. It's like the fear was so huge for me. It had to be my purpose.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's kind of like when it comes, because I have a friend who who has troubles with her throat chakra, especially when it comes to emotions or anxiety and things like this. But the fact that you're pushing yourself through, consistency brings the healing with it. Yeah. And in 6 months' time, the confidence that you'll get from it, of just breathing through it and just going to do it and just feeling the vulnerability anyway. And
I hear Brene Brown in there.
Exactly. She's another feminine who's powerful. And this is the thing, she made, like, I listened to her when I started my journey. I listened to her a few years ago, but I re-listened to her, and she made a very powerful point. Don't listen to people in the cheap seats.
Right.
People who are not willing to put themselves in the fire. Don't ever listen to them.
Yeah.
You're feeling your power and you're doing it anyway.
Exactly. You're in the ring. You've jumped in the ring to make a difference.
Exactly.
Present in your own life and to fight for that. And someone outside the ring making comments, get in your own fight.
Yeah.
Get in your own ring.
And that's the thing. It's like, you can join in with me. I don't mind. Like, it's kind of like now with my platform, because it's grew so much, it's kind of like, okay, where can I invite other people into it? But that's, you know, on my thing, where it's certain subjects that I want to talk about, like being a mom and, you know, being in corporate world, and, you know, and I wanted to touch upon different subjects and how women who are going through the process of, you know, I look at like a friend of mine, Amelia, she's got life patterned. She's got twin boys. She's a dance lecturer. She's starting a business. And I'm like, and her kids are just immaculate. Her house is immaculate. Everything is immaculate. She's got everything patterned. And I'm like, how on earth do you do it? Like, and I sat there and I asked her the other day, I was like, please come and do a live with me, just to talk about yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, when you get to a space of where you're okay in your own femininity and you're okay in your own confidence and you're okay with yourself, you don't mind sharing that. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's not with ego, it's with nothing but love.
Another thing is, Kimmy, that people actually think that fear is unnatural. So when that comes up in us, we try and, you know, it's something that you don't understand you're going to feel that. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. And everyone feels the fear and does it anyway. Who's done it? It's like you look at people who've done something before you have, or who've taken movements in whatever area they you know, they're destined to be in. But it's like, you know, and you think they didn't feel that fear, and you think that they didn't work through it. But the truth is, it's not that it gets less and less scary, I'd imagine, the more that you do it, but you still feel that.
Then I record my videos still. I still haven't listened to one.
My boyfriend Josh told me about Dr. Dre and the fact that, you know, he just puts things out and then has no more to do with it, because otherwise he'd be hearing the imperfections and taking it down. And we all feel a bit of that. Yeah. Super.
And I know my self-debilitating ego is like, oh, listen to your voice. So I said to myself, if I record and I post, I haven't got to listen to my ego chat BS in my head about me.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, like, shifting it would be,
I talk back to it. You know, when it says mean things to me, I just, you know, every mean thing it says, I say something nice. And that's how we get down. Because at first I thought, I wish that would go away, that voice that spoils everything for me. The one that tells me I'm not capable and I'm not going to be able to do it. But once I just accepted it and started having a chat, it was much less scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Much less scary. But yeah, so thanks for coming to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
That's fine. I hope that was okay.
Oh, perfect. See, I really wanted it to be free flowing and to have it take on a life of its own and become what it wants to be.
Because I go on a tangent. I do. I know this.
Hey, so do I, and that's the beauty of it. Like, I just love it.
Untamed.
Yeah, love that. That's absolutely the energy. I hope to talk again to you soon, and like you said, we'll hopefully pick it in the summer. I don't know where we're posting this. Maybe it's Instagram. So yeah, bye Instagram.
See you later.